It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. He's Spaz, your YWC reality check. I am Guapo, and it's Wednesday night Dynamite AEW. Let's go!
Alright, that's a work in progress. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check, and you don't see my pretty sexy face, but you have already heard the voice of Guapo, and we're actually getting it up off the ground, doing the collab Wednesday night, Thursday morning for you guys listening. Dynamite review, and not a bad show overall. We'll get a quick overall thought before we actually get into the show. I always used to say, when I would do an NXT that wasn't that exciting, it was very functional. This feels like a go-home show because they're building up the Arthur Ashe shows like mini pay-per-views. So this show did a lot of things to get us where we need to be, but what it means when it's very functional is there wasn't a whole lot other than Adam Cole's debut that was explosive tonight. That's my take. Guapo, what's your take?
I can agree with that. Adam Cole debut tonight. Phenomenal. Definitely building up the hype for this next week to come. I mean, we don't just have one show, we have two 2-hour shows next week.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how awake we're going to be when we do Rampage next Friday. Whether it's me,
I just don't know.
whether it's me and Guapo, we'll see how it goes. Either way, I'm promising that I won't be awake, or I will be fueled by an unhealthy amount of 5-hour energy.
That or it's going to be a Saturday review.
Maybe, perhaps. I do think it's cool that if they were going to bump up the time a little bit, they gave us a 2-hour Rampage as opposed to a 3-hour Dynamite, because then you're approaching Monday Night Raw territory.
Correct.
But yeah, let's dive on into the show itself. Punk on commentary, always a good thing.
Yes, it was great to start the show off with Cult of Personality and moving directly into Punk jumping into a crowd and then doing his little walk around the ring, high-fiving, taking pictures, do all that stuff, and then move his way to the commentary table. Tonight is definitely one of the first times a 4-man commentary booth worked in a good way.
I don't mind it, and the thing is, Dynamite is a little bit more clunky. What I will actually say, the thing about Rampage, is because you've got basically 4 wrestlers doing commentary on Rampage regularly, because isn't it Excalibur, yes, Mark Henry, Taz, and most of the time Jericho?
Correct.
On Rampage, I don't mind the clutter as much, because it just sounds like 4 people having a conversation rather than commentary. And the best one I will say out of that, I love Mark Henry. Mark Henry is so chill compared to all the other guys that are trying to get all their verbal stuff in. Really, really unique thing to that. Very similar to what I'll say about Punk tonight as well. A lot of wrestlers, when they're doing a guest stint on commentary, they're still trying to be like their character and still talk about like, oh, I don't like this because, you know, when I'm in the ring, I've got problems with that guy. But Punk sort of like makes his entrance into commentary and then sort of like sinks into the actual commentary role. So I'm not going to lie, there was a couple times tonight that, as cool as it was to have Punk on commentary, it slipped my mind that Punk was on commentary, but that's a good thing. It's sort of like the referee is doing the best job when you don't see them.
Right.
Sort of a similar thing for commentary as well. But, I mean, he did become a focal point later on in the night that we can talk about. Starting off the night with the debut of Adam Cole taking on Kaz.
Adam Cole, baby. I mean, it's self-explanatory. We knew that going in this match was going to be a banger. Frankie Kazarian just seems to get better as he gets older, and Adam Cole's Adam Cole. We knew what we were getting with him coming over to AEW. We're going to have a good match with him with no matter who he's facing. Definitely quite a good bit of spots in this match, but good storytelling all throughout. Adam Cole with the super kicks, tuning up the band just like one of his favorite coaches over down there in NXT.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, especially for an opener to get the crowd hot. It was a very smart decision to put this on first.
This was either going to be the opener or the main event, depending on how they wanted to put the show together. I mean, it's kind of different from how WWE sets out their shows, and I'm not drawing a comparison, but like we know for a while there, like WWE sort of set up their show with like a halfway main event, like
Yes.
at the 1 hour mark, which is nice. I mean, it brings everybody up and then brings everybody down and then brings everybody up again for the main event. I think AEW goes a slightly different route, and this is spoken about much more clearly if you follow 2 out of the 3 guys that do the reviews on What Culture, because Michael Sidgwick can fuck off. They do talk about how AEW is going out of their way to make the opening spot on Dynamite prestigious.
Yes.
To the point where it goes over to Rampage as well, where every episode of Rampage so far, what they've put in the main event in the opening spot is what I would have put in the main event, with the exception of the Britt Baker title defense in Pittsburgh, because that made sense.
Yes. Britt Baker, Red Velvet.
Yes. And I mean, that was just, it's Britt Baker in Pittsburgh. Everybody gets to feel good about it.
Yes.
One thing, I love the little mini story in this match as well. Kaz got tossed out early. He sort of kissed the apron on the way down. And from then on, everything was about his head. Whether it was strikes, whether it was headlocks. Ultimately, you're setting up for the Panama Sunrise in the last shot. Nice, cool, simple story there. Kaz, on the other hand, was going out of his way to do, really obscure, obscure submission setups. And it wasn't just like, I'm going to put you in a Boston Crab, or I'm going to put you in a figure 4, which I'm sure he can do because he's great on the technical end of things. But he was like, I'm going to take up every limb you've got, and it was almost a challenge to the commentary. It's like, okay, what do you think this is called? type of idea. Kaz, as I've said, I feel bad always saying hey, remember when TNA was good, because I'm liking Impact right now. But Kaz is really from that era of Joe and Styles and Daniels and the Motor City Machine Guns and all that kind of thing. Kaz now, he's not an old guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he has that every match I've got something to prove element that some of the... I'll use this example, and I hope people take it the right way. Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes has nothing to prove. Everybody loves Dustin Rhodes. But he fights every match like he's got something to prove. And Kazarian is starting to adopt a bit of that without showing the weather of somebody like a Dusty Rhodes. And I think there's something really cool about that. And it's just, I'm proving myself. I'm not going for titles. I'm not going for headlines. I'm not going for main events. I'm just going in there to show you. Christian's got the outwork everybody slogan.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of more applicable to Kaz at the moment. He's off the radar. He's the other body in the ring for, the super elite, for Adam Cole, etc., whoever he's in the ring against, but he's doing a fucking amazing... He's doing a way better job of the Ziggler role in WWE.
Absolutely, I can definitely agree with that. I mean, Frankie Kazarian's not in a place to where you can call him an enhancement talent at all. But
he does
in a place
enhance
in his
talent.
career where he can make any person look like $1 million.
Yeah, let's be real. Enhancement talent is another word for jobber.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
It is what it is. Frankie Kazarian's not an enhancement talent, but he does enhance talent.
Correct. And no matter what, even in this match, at certain points, it looked like Kazarian could win this match. They did a very good job telling a story that, hey, Kazarian's good enough, he could have beat Cole.
It's true. And the thing is that nobody really talks about, I think, is Kazarian doing the whole Elite Hunter thing really felt like he was going to go one by one through the members of the Elite until he finally got his hands on Kenny Omega. I don't think he would have beaten Kenny Omega, but it's unofficial gauntlet style, the Trials of Jericho, almost. That sort of came to an end when Adam Cole came in, because Adam Cole's not going to suffer any severe loss anytime soon.
Right.
And good for him, he's earned that, right? Gets on the mic after the match, obviously he gets the win, talks some shit about Christian and Jurassic Express. He says, I've only been here for a little while, but 3 guys have already pissed me off, and it's Christian, and it's the Jurassic Express, when all he did was come in and kick Jungle Boy in the head.
I'm fine with it. That match is going to be just amazing. Super Click back together. I can't fucking wait. It's going to be great.
Okay, I will say, as somebody that never, before AEW, never followed the Bullet Club, never followed the Elite, never followed... I do find the name thing a bit obnoxious.
Obviously.
But like, it's the Elite. But if you add this person and take this person out, it's the Super Elite. And if you take this person in and this person out, it's the Golden Elite. And if you take this person out and this person in, you add and you get the Super Click. And if Kevin Owens comes over eventually, it's going to be Mount Rushmore. Like, it's the same. Yes. I know it's probably intentionally obnoxious, but that's just... It's a lot. They're doing a lot. It's little spoiler for everybody. I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow with Jake talking about the new NXT, and I'm not saying good, I'm not saying bad, but NXT did a lot. It's fucking fireworks, rainbows, NXT. It's fine. I'm going to sort of go a little bit out of order because Christian and the Jurassic Express did respond later in the night, but it had nothing to do with the match. It had everything to do with the digs that they could get in at NXT. It took...
calling up their friend from Developmental.
From Developmental.
I'm not going to lie. That one gave me a pop. That one popped me.
Yeah, and talking about Adam Cole's getting ready to lose one more Wednesday Night War. But WWE are the childish ones, right? Anyways, we get the announcement sort of awkwardly just kind of shoved in there on Rampage this Friday. One of the things we have to look forward to is Lucha Brothers versus the Butcher and the Blade. Yes. And I say looking forward to in tight air quotes because I really don't care about the Butcher and the Blade. At all.
I enjoy them, obviously. I don't see them being champions anytime soon.
Like, the Butcher comes in and he's a big wrecking ball, and that's fun. Yeah. But that's got a shallow shelf life, if that makes sense. And the Blade has been trying to wrestle by himself for a while, obviously because his partner was injured. Nobody's taken the piss out of that. But the Blade by himself...
he had a slight injury. However, he was also busy writing. They were recording music for... Every Time I Die. Oh. The band. He's the lead guitarist in Every Time I Die. The Butcher.
I was not aware of that.
Yes.
I guess I was going with the kayfabe of he had an injury. But either way...
No, it was he was nursing a minor injury, but also they had to finish a studio album.
And you got to imagine he's a big dude, so nursing an injury, depending on what the injury is going to take him longer. But him being gone, regardless of the reason, sort of underlined that by himself, the Blade is boring as fuck. The Blade is
the bunny makes up for it. That's it.
Oh. Ooh.
I mean,
we're going to talk about somebody who's a little bit better later on, but the bunny ain't bad.
The bunny ain't bad.
What I am looking forward to on Rampage, because I like Carnage and I like Destruction and I like whatever, Fuego found his nuts, and he's putting his new car up against Miro for a shot at the TNT title, and he's gonna die.
Oh my god, Fuego's gonna lose his car. It's going to be horrible, and I'm gonna love it.
He's gonna lose his head, man.
Look, I know we're gonna get to Miro's, or we could just skip to it now.
We could just skip to it now, yeah.
So Miro cut a promo about it. Yeah,
I'm going to smash you, and then I'm going to smash your car.
I'm going to smash you and smash your car. I really wanted to say, I'm going to smash you, then I'm going to smash my wife in your car.
Oh, man.
That's what I wanted.
No, make a mom joke out of it. I'm going to smash you, and then I'm going to smash where you came from.
Oh, no.
What do you want me to say about a match where I only care
I know Fuego's not going to beat Miro for the TNT title, but oh my god! So does that mean Sammy's going to be buying Fuego a new car? I don't know.
Okay, am I delusional, right?
Yeah.
Or was it at one point we were supposed to be getting a rematch between Miro and Kingston at Arthur Ashe?
I think so, but
now there's the tag team thing that we're going to talk about later.
They're going to do the tag thing.
I'll get to that when I get to it. MJF comes out, does his MJF thing, talks to the dead Brian Pillman.
Okay.
I put a tweet out there.
I'm not gonna lie, this promo, it popped me up until the point of when he talked to Pillman, and yeah,
I don't mind it, but it's one of. I don't mind it because obviously the family's on board and whatever.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things, and it happens in WWE, it happens in NXT. I'm sure it happens in Impact as well. It's one of those things where I don't mind. They're pushing the edge. Good for them. They've probably got the right permission. If other people are upset by it, I can buy that. Yeah, I can understand that. What I had said, what I pissed people off with on Twitter was, okay, here we've got MJF, who's already a knockoff Miz, stealing a Randy Orton promo. He's not up there, he's down there in hell. I'm really, really popular on Twitter. Pillman comes out with a chair, MJF fucks off, Pillman dumps out Wardlow, and again...
I think Pillman should have took the shot.
I think it's really awkward that you go from this Pillman interaction live in the ring to a JR interview with Pillman that took place previously in the night. I didn't enjoy that promo package at all. It sounded like JR was shitting on him. I know it's the whole he's trying to get him going, but it's just
we need to see MJF get his ass whipped.
Yeah,
that was the quote.
Do you remember? Oh, I think it was WrestleMania 20, the WrestleMania that Eddie and Benoit left with both the titles. But earlier on in the
yes, WrestleMania 20.
Earlier on in the night, when Eddie's trying to G him up, he's like, "Hey man, it's just go out there and have a good match. Nobody expects you to win," and he's really just fucking with him to get him riled up. I think they were using JR to try and do that, but it didn't work at all.
No, it does not work aesthetically at all.
Because I like JR, but JR does come off like an asshole sometimes.
Okay, so this isn't happening in a million years, but I think there's only one person you can throw into Pillman's corner to really rile him up to make him kick MJF's ass. But I don't see it happening.
Who's that?
Stone Cold. He's the only one. I mean, what you call it? The Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they did the Cincinnati connection between him and Mox last week on Rampage. You and I talked about it. If they want, and people were drawing comparisons between them and the Hollywood Blondes, because, Mox is kind of like an Austin-ish character.
Absolutely.
I think that's about as close as you get.
Yeah, but I don't see. I mean, unless somehow Austin's like, yeah, I'll do a one-off thing for it.
But he's still tied to WWE. Do we get the
glass shatter?
He's still tied to WWE though. He still does the Austin podcast on the network and all that. I'm sure it's a really, really loose contract. But I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure the hard line is going to be go give our competitors one of the biggest pops left that they can get.
God. I mean, besides the fact that we're going to get Flair at some point soon, so.
Yeah, but Flair, it's sort of everybody kind of expects it because there is already a tie to somebody there, and I don't Flair isn't a strictly WWE guy. He's been WCW, he's been NWA, he's been, I think he was WCCW, I could be wrong.
TNA.
TNA. Flair did, he spent some time in WWE, for sure, he made an impact in WWE, but
let's just say you're not going to get Shawn wasn't his last match.
You're not gonna get an Austin pop for Flair. If the rumors are true and he's going to manage Andrade, you're going to get the that's really cool pop.
Yeah.
Not the holy fuck.
I hate to say it. I feel like we'll get a Charlotte chant at some point with that.
I mean, one of them made her and one of them's doing her. So
that.
I mean, they'd have to address her as Ashley Fleer.
Yeah. I mean, they can call her Ashley Flair, so...
It would be really funny if he started, not doing quite a Miro thing, but if he started talking about his hot wife, Ashley, and just pretending that it's a completely different person than the Charlotte that we get in WWE. It's fine. Charlotte's going to face Spooky Alexa Bliss at Extreme Rules. It's going to be great. I lost my place.
Pillman.
We were talking about the JR interview that didn't work. I mean, there's one pop that AEW could get that would destroy everything else. And I'm sorry, as much as it's close to Austin, it's The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if The Rock ever showed up on Dynamite, like, all the super toxic, argumentative AEW fans would rip their cocks off and eat them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 100% true. He's going to come out and manage Hikuleo or something like that. But that's, actually, no, that's happening on Impact. Moving on. Okay, explain this to me, because you guys know what's going on behind the scenes more than I do. Is there anything wrong with Mike Seidel?
I think he got injured the last match that he had wrestled live on TV.
Okay, so I don't have as much of a problem with it. I could not be paid to give a rat lizard fuck about Dante Martin. Right?
I freaking love Dante.
The guy's athletic. The guy can do his flippy-dippy shit, but welcome to AEW, where that's everybody. And I'm giving AEW credit in that regard.
I mean, I know right now Dante's brother, the other half of Top Flight,
he's injured too,
injured still. Yeah. So that's why we had the mismatch of Dante Martin and Matt Sydal.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, and I'm not even going to say them on this podcast, I have an idea of why Dante Martin is on our TVs so much, and I don't want to get super unpopular, so I'm going to leave it alone. But okay. My thought was, if they literally took Matt's partner and brother off of TV so that they could put him in this match, that would be really fucked up.
No, I think I'm pretty sure Matt got Mike has a injury.
Anyways, mixed match tag team versus a well-established tag team like FTR. FTR get the win over Dante, so, you know, something went my way.
Great match. Dante looked like $1 million throughout the whole match.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with what he does in the ring. There's just nothing... I hate this expression because it says everything and nothing all at once. There's nothing about him. Like, he goes out there and does cool shit.
I can understand that. Okay. Dante's 20 years old.
Yes.
He's still fresh. I know you don't really listen to the AEW Unrestricted podcast too much.
Yeah.
However, I was listening to it this past week where Mark Henry's on it. Okay. And so, I know this is a tangent, but Mark Henry's actually helping with young talent, coach and everything.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Dante's one of the people that he talked about, how he's working with him, and how his expressions need to become more drawn out and everything like that, to where people can, like, relate better to him and everything. And, like, he straight up asks him, like, Dante, like, you wrestle like you've been underneath the hood of your whole life. He's like, actually, I just started wrestling without a mask on for the last 2 years. I'm like, okay, well that makes perfect sense. The man needs to figure out how to express more.
But see, I don't get that, and I'm not trying to be argumentative with him or with you, but like, if anything, look at the most famous hooded wrestlers we've got. Look at the Lucha Brothers. Even look at like a fun team like the Lucha House Party. Look at Rey Mysterio, etc. The guys that can't show their faces, if anything, learn to be more expressive.
Right.
So I don't get that.
He's expressive in his body language, but now that you don't have a hood, you can't just be straight faced the whole match. Like, you see someone's face and their expressions. You can have body language all day, and it's not going to look right. It's not going to be. It won't translate. You got to tell
your face what's going on, so that the crowd knows what's going on, so that they can react to what's going on.
Correct.
But also, like, I don't like. But sort of building on that is like, I don't know what his deal is. Right now he's another really athletic guy in AEW, the company that's known for really athletic guys. And I'm sorry, you go out there and you do your flippy dippy doodas, as some people say, that alone is not going to make you stand out when you're on the same roster as somebody like a Ray Phoenix or a Darby Allin.
I agree.
I
texted this to one of my friends. I would love to see Dante versus Ricochet in a match, but that's way down the line, probably.
I mean, you're more likely to get him against Sami Zayn if we're talking about people still coming over.
Sammy? No. Maybe El Generico, but we have to pull him out of the orphanage in Mexico.
Good God. Or no, it'll be a combination of the two, because like Aleister Black brought over like half his name, so he's going to come in with like a half mask, and it's going to be Sammy Generic.
No.
And,
Generico,
Kevin Stevens.
Nope, Kevin Steen. He'll go back to Kevin Steen.
Okay. Anyway, that was a detour. I will say I don't 100% hate that this match happened, because, you know, the AEW thing, wins and losses matter. Santana and Ortiz beat them. They talked about taking on the hierarchy of the roster. FTR came out on the losing end of that thing, so they're going to face sort of the lesser half of the tag team roster, and that's going to include tag teams that are thrown together. You know who's a tag team that's thrown together that's kind of awesome and should have the tag team belts right stat now? Mox and Eddie.
100%. I would love to see Mox and Eddie with tag team belts.
Mox and Eddie should have destroyed the Young Bucks a while ago, but we don't need to go there right now. It's fine. We find out that next week they're taking on Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer, who are apparently a team somewhere else, and I'm assuming you can talk more about that team than I can.
Yes, Suzuki gang. That's all I
got. They kill people?
Pretty much everybody dies. Like Lance Archer's music tells everybody.
Again, I don't want to go over this too much. We went over this the other week when we talked about the pay-per-view. Suzuki's not somebody I'm too familiar. Archer's somebody that I'm kind of familiar with, that they haven't done anything with in a long time. Them being a unit happened off my radar. So It's very much, I'm here for Mox and Eddie. I'm here for what this other team can do, but I'm looking at this as a very much wait and see. Or
there will be blood.
But there was blood on Rampage. It's fine.
Yes, there's gonna be way more of this next week.
Okay. My big nitpick for this week, which will come to the surprise of nobody.
I had a feeling that's what it would be.
Which will come to the surprise of nobody. So I'm going to let you go first. The Malachi Black, Cody Rhodes, Rosario Dawson segment.
Cheap plug for what the fuck is it called? The Go Big Show. Which, you know, I feel like is dishonoring Paul White a little bit, but whatever. I mean, we need a payoff, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand the whole Rosario Dawson besides just like, just the correlation with the Go Big Show that Cody had originally left to go for to film the second season of. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to enjoy the match regardless because I enjoy Malachi Black.
Yeah.
Who absolutely has probably one of the best entrances in AEW. Yeah, I mean,
he's one of the best at projecting his character. Well, like, I don't know exactly what his character is, but as far as projecting a character out, he's probably one of the best they've got.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of happy this is happening on a Dynamite versus a pay-per-view. So there's that.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with something surprising, and then I'm gonna nitpick the shit out of this.
Okay, go for it.
I actually am looking forward to this match, despite the fact that it's a Cody match, and I haven't changed my opinion on Cody really. I was looking forward to this match because we saw them fight before, and between the two of them, there's a great chemistry. That first match showed it. Obviously, Cody put himself in as the debut of this much anticipated new star, because of course he did. But I can't deny the match was good. I can't deny the next match is going to be good. I actually went as far as to say I'm surprised they didn't put it on All Out. Now, All Out was enough of a heart attack as it was. It's fine. Right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of different things wrong with this. First of all, you have Rosario Dawson out there. Every wrestling company is guilty of this. Hey, look, we've got a celebrity in the crowd. Aren't we cool? That's number one. Number two, she's only there to plug the show, her show, but it's not even her show that she's plugging. It's a way of Cody to say, look at this other cool stuff I'm doing. Then you have...
She should have had a, Luke Cage shirt on.
Yes. Or just a Marvel shirt in general.
Yeah.
Number three, you take this badass Malachi Black character who's, mowed through the short list of people he's faced so far, and all of a sudden you portray him as somebody that's about to step out into the crowd and threaten a woman.
Right.
Which always look like, and that's not me going SJW, that just makes him look like, okay, spooky character up here, like, sexist, abusive dickhead down here. Right? And I don't think that helps him at all. 4, Rosario Dawson comically jumping on his back and flailing around on him like a human backpack made him look like a goof. And 5, of course, Cody Rhodes, the prince of his own fairy tale, has to come back and save the damsel in distress. Because of course he does.
I mean, yeah. That's what he does.
I like Rosario Dawson. I like Malachi Black. I don't like Cody Rhodes. Nobody came out of this segment looking good.
I can agree with that.
And it took away the big chunk of credit that I was giving this match looking into next week. Which is, I was willing to give credit to this match with this wrestler that I can't stand, and you took it away.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Want to move on to something a little bit more fun, though?
Let's do it.
Anna Jay's going to fight the Bunny on Friday, and we're going to get more pissant Dark Order doesn't get along bullshit. Yay!
Yay!
I mean, Anna Jay and the Bunny are going to have a good match.
I mean, I'm happy to have Anna Jay in a match, no matter what.
I'm happy to have Anna Jay back because obviously, she went and dealt with some stuff and came back. I really do like there's no tag team belts in AEW yet, but I really do like the dynamic between her and Tay Conte. If they do introduce women's tag titles down the line, I repeat and I underscore down the line.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind it going on them because they're great. Tanera Conte.
I honestly think the next belts we get, we're gonna get the trios at some point.
Yeah. Okay, but that's all but confirmed already, though.
Yeah.
So I'm saying down the line, I'm just looking at when you look at certain situations where there isn't a title, but if there wasn't a title, they would have it, right?
Yes.
There's various times in WWE where I've said, you know what, if they did it properly, those two could be a good mixed tag title holder or whatever. At the popularity peak of Andrade Zelina Vega, make a tag team title for them. But then you have to build a division around it. But WWE's shown that you can do a women's tag team division. It's fine. Right now it's held by Natalya and Tamina, and we don't need to talk about it, but should be going on my girl and Tegan Knox, but again, another story for another day. Anna Jay versus the Bunny, Dark Order fighting, all that's going to happen on Friday. And then we get, again, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, all the Dan Lambert stuff.
The American Top Team. Okay, I'm not going to lie, the whole segment itself, it's been drawn out to the point where I honestly don't care about it anymore. I mean, I every fighter in that ring, I enjoy watching on UFC, Bellator, whatever, mixed martial arts, cage fighting, championship, whatever it is, the real fights. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy every single person inside the ring. However, this segment went from pretty much a 2 to a fucking 20 real quick with fucking Jericho and Hager coming out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh my god, we're about to watch Hager just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take on all these top fighters right now. And I'm totally for it.
I mean, that's not quite what we ended up with, but...
No, I mean, I will take Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. But... just the prospect of maybe they're turning this into Hager versus one of these fighters in Bellator, which I will go for. Also, part of me is just like, I kind of don't, too, because I want to withhold Jake's perfect MMA score.
Yeah. Also, and it's true, again, it goes back to the celebrity involvement thing. You involve other athletes from another sport, you run the risk of your wrestling fans sitting at your wrestling show and being like, I don't care about these people.
Right. Which I thought the whole point of Jericho and Hager coming out and Dan Lambert cutting off the crowd and the music, and the crowd just kept going to sing Judas. Perfect.
Cutting off the music would have worked if they hadn't done the thing with MJ, and I loved it, don't get me wrong, but the whole thing where MJF said you're not allowed to have entrance music, and the crowd just sang it instead. So that is a thing now that exists.
Oh, 100%.
So they're playing to that. The Lambert guy is great. Apparently he did this same shtick in Impact for a while, but that must have been when I wasn't watching.
I wasn't watching it then either.
I do think it's a bit of a slap in the face to the fans, because you're taking, like, what he's basically regurgitating is the criticism that some people have for the AEW product, even though they're watching it. It's like, hey, maybe I'll nitpick this, maybe I'll nitpick that. So basically he's personifying some of the fans so that the company can say go fuck yourself without directly saying go fuck yourself to those fans. It's like when Triple H back in the day had the puppet named Mark, who was smart. He's doing that, but he's doing it with, the company's doing that, but they're doing it with a real live person. And it hasn't yet, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, if somebody does look at that and say, well, go fuck yourself, I'm not going to watch your show then, it's not out of nowhere. It's not an RKO. Yes. I don't think you can dress this up. I think this was just, let's give Jericho something to do at the big show, because he's obviously it's obviously a day that's not part of his tour, so he's back for the big show. Putting him in a tag match with Hager, least amount of chance that he's going to get injured and somehow not be able to tour. I'm fine with that, and you put him in there with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, who are great once the bell rings. All their, like, flashy attitude is, like, watered down what the Elite is doing when it's just the two of them, and they gotta watch that. But once they're in the ring, Scorpio's great. Ethan Page is funny as hell. Because it's Jericho, and because you can do a lot of wacky things with Jericho, if he came down for one night as the Karate Man, I'd pop. Scorpio Sky and the Karate Man.
If he came down as Mr. Miyagi.
Oh my god. Did you see Ethan Page versus the Karate Man?
Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yes.
Like his other personality, whatever.
Yes.
That was his last match in Impact.
I'd pop. Now, the only other...
Better than the final deletion. Anyways.
The only other wrestler I'd pop for that could come out during this match to screw over Ethan Page, Danhausen. It's very good. Very evil.
Very evil, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I love Danhausen right now. I'm more
really.
Me,
the crowd, and everybody that's ever listened to us in the past little while couldn't have told that.
I'm sorry, I love Danhausen.
I mean, it's gonna be, like I say, it's gonna be good. We haven't seen.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be very evil. It's very good.
We haven't seen Hager in a while. Hager's gonna like destroy these guys. Like he's gonna eat them for lunch.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Jericho's gonna start the match off. Jericho's gonna be getting his shit stomped in at some point. Throw in the hot tag to Hager, and Hager's just gonna be.
You know what I want to see, honestly? Because he does the Judas effect, right? I want Jericho to, like, be all disrespectful and turn his back to both of them. Then Hager comes in, grabs them both by the scruff of the neck, throws them at Jericho into a double Judas effect.
Oh, that would be pretty great.
Plus, like, Hager's a monster, and it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm not going to waste any time on, and I'm not going to waste any of your time on either? The Gun Club have turned heel! I don't care. Do you care?
Who?
There we go. You know what I did like, though? And what actually surprised me, because I thought she was just going to get squashed, was Jade Cargill versus Layla Hirsch.
Yeah, I was very surprised by the match, too. It went much longer than I thought it was going to be. Then again, you can't really take anything away from Layla Hirsch.
Oh, she's great.
She is, for lack of a better word, legit.
Yes. And she got some nice bounce to her. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to comment on that.
I'm not lying. You're not arguing with me either. No, but let's be real. Like, she's cute as hell, and like the crowd's behind her, and she's got like, and then people might think this is a stretch. She's got a little bit of Taz in her. Like the short, stocky, like powerful, like spark plug wrestler. And it works, and she makes it work, because as soon as, like, you have a stare down between her and, like, overhyped Jade Cargill, like, obviously the size thing is there, but as soon as she locks her in, like, in a suplex or some kind of throw or whatever, like, the size disparity disappears, even though they're both still standing.
Yes.
And I don't know how that works. She owned most of this match and lost. Like, when she lost, I was actually, like, in the frame of, like, watching a TV show. I was kind of pissed, because she had most of the match. And I could have done without the commercial break as well. But God
damn, she's 4'11".
Yep. That means while she's whatever.
She's 24. God damn, she's younger than me.
Yeah. While she's doing whatever, I can also rest my drink on her head. It's fine.
There you go. There you go.
Very good, not evil.
I feel like that is very good and very evil. But okay. Anyway,
I think it's evil that Jade Cargill won.
Picked up the win. Surprisingly, so Jade is getting better. You can definitely tell she's putting the work in, getting better every week. So,
yeah, but you get a little bit of like Big Show syndrome though. As long as they keep putting her in there with smaller people, all she has to do is go in there and be big, and that doesn't if I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, that doesn't give her like an opportunity to like become a better worker, because her job is to go in there and be big and scary. Right. I don't find her anything really. Like, I was trying to find a nice way to say it, but like I don't. I really don't. Like, if she's number 3 in the rankings, at some point she's gonna have to be moving up to face and do something with somebody else. But like, if she's there to be like the big power player, right? Like, I know she's not nearly as featured. Once again, I'm going to say I don't watch Dark Elevation. I don't believe in wrestling giving you homework. But I would rather have Big Swole in this position, because she's at least fun. Like, I'm pretty sure she could come out and still be bitchy if they needed her to be the heel, because Layla Hirsch is obviously the face. Like, she could come out there with a bit of an attitude, or put somebody, because I'm glad she's in AEW now, the Kiera Hogan. Mm-hmm. Like, they have her. Why aren't we seeing more of her? Type thing. Just, like, there's better options. There are better options than Jade Cargill. And she kind of looks like she's going to melt. I'm just putting that out there. We cut inconspicuously to commentary where Taz comes out and confronts Punk and accuses Punk of stealing his job. For about a second, it looks like Punk is going to square up to Hook. And if the first match had been Punk versus Hook, I would have laughed a bunch. He gets blindsided by Hobbs. Hook puts him in a Dragon Sleeper, which is, like, other than a generic beatdown, I think it's the first thing I've actually seen Hook do.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about it.
Like, I said it before, it's the most prolonged and, like, pointless take your kid to work day ever. But, I mean...
Which is terrible, because we love Taz.
It is? I do love Taz. Taz is great. Like, outside of wrestling, Taz is great. Because I've seen and heard more of him when he's had like various talk shows and podcasts and whatever than I have since he's come to AEW. I like Taz. I like Taz in there in AEW as well.
If Taz can get a new podcast or another radio show, I'd be listening to it in a heartbeat.
Oh my god. Oh.
If he does, I need him to bring the gimmicks back and everything.
I want him to get his old team
David
back.
Schnappets, everything.
I want his old team back. The captain.
Yes.
Remember the captain?
I remember the captain.
Always be a captain. Anyways, it's confirmed later on that he's going to face Hobbs. We're going to run down later on the shows that are coming up because I've got them on a separate sheet of paper, if I'm completely honest with you. I mean, Hobbs is going to be good. It's going to be like the power versus the technical guy. It's going to be the young guy versus the experienced guy. These are all very basic, very easy to tell wrestling stories. I'm totally cool with that. I think we
end up. I'm just going to call it now. I think we're going to end up getting interference from Brian Cage in this.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some double teaming. I mean, if we eventually get CM Punk and Brian Cage versus Hobbs and Ricky Starks on our way to just getting Punk versus Starks, that's a cool story. That's a story I'll roll down. But eventually, there has to be a thing in there where it's like, if we win this tag match, or if I beat Starks, then I get a match with Hook, and then Hook just gets killed. It's fine. And then
Hook gets murdered.
And then it's one of those old Paul Bearer things, where it's like, hey, if I beat The Undertaker, I get a match with Paul Bearer. And Taz is going to do his best Paul Bearer, but I'm not a wrestler. It's very tired in here. But no, it's a good set of... Like, him going through Team Taz is a good, like, hey, this is what we're going to do with Punk for the next little while. Because we're going another direction with the title picture, and I don't think anybody's really going to get behind Punk going for the TNT title. The only other thing I could see is if Punk and Bryan teamed up for the tag titles against...
Oh, yeah.
It's still the Bucks, isn't it?
Yes. No. Lucha Brothers have the title.
Even still... Actually, you know what I would find hilarious? Just because I'm sure Daniel Bryan doesn't really care where he wrestles, like he just wants to wrestle, I would find it hilarious for Punk and Bryan as a team to show up on Impact and take the belts off of the Good Brothers.
I'm all for it.
Can you imagine the shot in the arm for Impact?
Oh, absolutely.
I will say, honestly, and I'm going to be doing a preview for it sometime later on in the week as well when I get time. They have a mini pay-per-view this weekend, Victory Road. And it's a pretty good card, if I'm honest. Mm-hmm. It's, what is it? It's Finjuice versus Chris Bay and Hikuleo. It's Chris Sabin versus Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander, current Destiny champion. Check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's Christian defending the title against Ace Austin.
Nice.
Decay has a match, so I'm happy. I don't even care who they're facing. It's a pretty good little show that's coming up. I say little like I'm being condescending, but
Christian's going to be facing Brian Myers at Emergence.
Emergence has already passed. He already beat Brian Myers.
Gotcha. So the streak continues. Got it.
Victory Road is him versus Ace Austin. Inevitable Ace Austin. But I will say, and I mean by the time this is going out Thursday morning. It'll still count. I will tell you what the main event for tomorrow's Impact is.
Okay.
If I can find the graphic. Because we're getting Ace Austin versus Christian at the pay-per-view, it's Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, Brian Myers, W. Morrissey, and Moose versus Christian Cage, Josh Alexander, Chris Sabin, Sami Callihan, and Eddie Edwards.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, man, like, little tiny steps here and there, but Impact ain't bad. And they've got Decay. And I hope they get Bray Wyatt. I think every time we talk about AEW, I end up sticking in a little plug for Impact, and I'm not sad about it.
Somewhere in there.
You know what else I'm not sad about? Spears versus Darby Allin.
Oh, great match.
Big old brawl before it started. I love the fact that Sean Spears came out with Canadian God on his tights. That made me laugh. That popped me. It was really good. We had a beatdown on the outside, which confused the hell out of me, because I thought it was one of those, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you before the match starts. But no, It's just, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you, and the match is just going to keep going. The spot, I mean, we all know Darby Allin doesn't care, but the whole, like, I'm going to lean you up against the steps, and then I'm going to do the running knee. Oh, P.S. One more thing about NXT, and then I'm not going to mention NXT again in this video. Mandy Rose has a better V-trigger than Kenny Omega. Moving on.
Okay, sidebar, just real quick about Mandy Rose. The little what's called like a group chat I'm in with some of the dudes down here in the Louisiana. Apparently they have a weird thing about Mandy Rose's makeover now.
Because she's not blonde anymore?
Because she's not blonde, like they're into her more now.
They had to change her look because she's managing Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Gigi Dolan is Priscilla Kelly.
Okay, gotcha.
So she can't exactly go out there and be like the bad stereotype of the Barbie doll that some people apparently out there hate, and basically be managing a goth tag team. Plus, She had her face smashed in by Saray a couple weeks ago, and she had like a Sheamus face mask on for a little bit. So they gave her a makeover, and basically all it was is like her gear is black, and she came out in a leather jacket with a hood and revealed the brunette hair, and she's got a much more aggressive style now. I won't say it's like night and day, like Caterpillar goes into the cocoon or whatever, but it's like there's concerted effort for somebody that everybody keeps writing off as like another fucking WWE Barbie, like, which isn't the case, first of all. But no, it's one of the things that always pissed me off when Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were like just starting on the main roster. It's like, oh, look at this, you got the one that can actually fight, and you got the one that's just there like for looks. And I'm like, I saw them fight each other at NXT house shows and kick the living shit out of each other.
Right.
Like, maybe don't be ignorant. You're allowed to be white and blonde, even though it's 2021. Anyways, it's fine. We're good. It's fine.
Everything is okay.
Everything is okay. Fine. Sean Spears going to the outside, going to the ring keeper's area to get the wet cloth to wipe off Darby Allin's paint was a nice touch.
Yes.
Darby Allin obviously firing up. Get to the end of the match. Suicide dive, coffin drop. Coffin drop to the small of the back was a nice touch. Like not a standard, like, because Sean Spears fucked up his knee doing one of those step spots. And it's an interesting story because if you have one injured leg, you put all the pressure on your other leg, and walking so slanted does eventually affect your back. So to finish off the match, I know this because I have a bad knee. So for him to end it with not only a coffin drop, but a coffin drop to the small of the back was it was again, it's one of those things. It's just enough that it's a nice little touch. And then FTR show up, they brawl with Sting and Darby. Numbers game takes advantage, and eventually they beat the shit out of Sting and wipe his face paint off too. And I like this. AEW is getting really good at this, with finding really symbolic ways for the heels to take their scalp. Obviously, with these two, it's the face paint, with Steve Borden getting the Sting paint wiped off, with Darby Allin getting the half skull taken off. And the other thing that I was going to say is go back a couple weeks on Rampage when what the fuck is his name? When Miro tried to almost unmask Fuego.
Yes.
They're finding like all the old school wrestling ways. If you've got somebody with a painted face, you wash their face, you've taken away who they are. If you get a luchador, obviously, you go for the mask, you take away who they are. It's not just, oh, I took a cheap shot at you, or oh, I injured you, or oh, I insulted you. It's like they're going back to a little bit of old school in the way of like, this is what's really going to get it. And we've seen a lot of it very recently, and I got to give AEW a lot of credit for that. Like I say, post-match brawl ends up with both of them get their faces wiped off. Matches are announced that we're going to talk about in a minute, and then we get the Bryan Omega promo where Bryan, I don't know if there's a better way to say it. He just baits Kenny Omega until he says yes. This weird thing that they've got going, Bryan and Omega, where like they don't wear their merch, where they're both coming out in the plain white tees. There's something going on there. I don't know what it is, because any other time you see Kenny Omega, he's either dressed like an absolute Nimrod, or he's in his merch.
Right.
Only when he's doing this thing with Bryan do they both come out with the plain white tees.
I think simply they're just going to set up for a massive merch drop for next week with both of them.
They're thinking the fans are dumb enough to buy AEW brand plain white tees?
No, absolutely not.
Because that's pretty shit. I'm not going to lie.
If anything, this was a strategic thing to allow pro wrestling tees not to burn because of all of the A, CM Punk shirt orders, B, the Adam Cole shirt orders, and then C, the Ruby Soho shirt orders. Add BRYAN into it, the site would probably not have been up for at least a solid 4 days.
Or you'd be the cause for their dramatic expansion.
I mean, they've been expanding like crazy, so I mean, I don't know. I think if anything, they're allowing pro wrestling tees to breathe for a minute.
That's fair. That's I had not thought of that. I thought it was like much more Easter egg-y. But if that's not the case, then I really don't know what to say. I mean, there's no doubt that the match is going to be awesome. I wish, I don't usually say this, and I think I said the complete opposite when it came to Darby and Punk. It is one of those ones that I wouldn't mind if we had a couple more weeks to wait. Like the fact that they announced it this week and we're getting it next week. Arthur Ashe is a big show. I understand that. They have less pay-per-views. They have more special weekly shows, and this is... I mean, it's going to get them a rating. Let's be real. I don't know. Even though Omega's not like my favorite person, and neither is BRYAN, if I look at the big picture, I wouldn't mind waiting for this another week or so. But we're getting it next week, and it's going to happen at a big show. Maybe the referee will be the big show. I don't know. I think Daniel Bryan really enjoys getting to swear. It's really funny. It's really funny because it sounds like a kid when they think their parents have left the room, and they say, guess what? Shit! And, I mean, the whole carny piece of shit thing that Christian has started, they do have this cool little anti-elite team building with BRYAN and Christian and Kaz and the Jurassic Express. There's going to be a 5-on-5 or a Blood and Guts or a Survivor Series adjacent match eventually. I just don't know when exactly they're going to do it. Are they going to wait until more titles have shuffled around? And I don't know. But
I think we're going to get a Survivor Series-esque type match at some point for the payoff with all that.
Submission only elimination match.
Probably not.
IR Lasad.
Right.
And on the outside, you've just got, like, what's his name? What's his face with the plastic mask that's got the cold spray?
Right.
Cutler.
Cutler. Brandon Cutler.
The preliminary match for the 5-on-5 is Cutler versus Marco Stunt.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on.
You know what?
Good.
I'll watch it.
No. Cutler and Michael Nakazawa in a handicap match against Marco Stunt. Because Marco Stunt's already kind of handicapped. Anyways, sort of a downward way to end the show, but Mox and Eddie versus 2.0. Mox and Eddie killed them again.
Yes.
And then they brawled with the Suzuki Goon Gun guys. Not much to say. They're setting up for their match next week. 2.0 are hilarious, but they're there to get destroyed if you put them in there with guys like Mox and Eddie.
Correct.
That's all I got.
I mean, that's it. I mean, them in the ring with Eddie and Mox, you knew who was going to die. It was going to be 2.0.
Yeah. They should have the Everybody Dies thing.
Right.
The tag team match next week is for custody of the Everybody Dies music.
Sure.
It's AEW soundtrack CD on a pole match.
Oh, God. Do you want a quick rundown of what's happening on Rampage this Friday?
I have a rundown of everything they announced.
So do I.
For Rampage Dynamite, and then the big Rampage. I do want to stick in, I meant to stick it in a couple minutes ago when we were talking about Impact. The other really cool thing that came out from Impact, and I think the news just dropped today, they do have an all-female show coming up soon. I think it's called like Knockouts, Knockdown, or something like that.
Nice.
Very, very cool. They're doing a tribute thing to Daphne. They are doing a Daphne Memorial Monsters Ball match, considering she was in the first women's Monsters Ball in Impact. So I don't know who's in it. Nothing like that has been announced. I just thought that was a really cool thing. I don't even know when the show is, but they are specifically doing like a Monsters Ball, like a hardcore women's match, and that's how they're paying tribute to Daphne, and I think that's fucking awesome. If Shotzi Blackheart could get out of her WWE contract for a night, I would love to see her do something like that, because her whole thing was like, I'm going to NXT, I want to bring hardcore wrestling to that NXT women's division. Like, that was one of her goals.
If it wasn't for the fact that she's already that she's already up on main roster, I would say somehow she gets a letter or something that allows her to work that one night for that one show.
Yeah, but you'd like to think so.
With her being on main card, I don't see it happening.
Well, she's supposed to be getting a women's tag team title match along with Tegan Knox, but, we don't need to talk about that right now. So, this coming Friday on Rampage, we've got Anna Jay versus the Bunny and Dark Order drama. We got the Lucha Brothers versus the Butcher and the Blade, which is going to be the Lucha Brothers' first big victory after winning the titles, obviously. Butcher and the Blade are there to be the other bodies in the ring, is my quick take on that. We got Fuego versus Miro, title versus Car.
Fuego del Sol.
What did I say?
You said Fuego.
Whatever, same thing. Somebody keeps telling me that I pronounce Kiera Hogan wrong, so...
Do you know what Fuego del Sol means?
The fire of the sun?
There you go. I'm proud of you.
I do good shit sometimes.
You're learning. I'm proud.
I don't have to be American to speak Mexican. Anyway... That was
Spanish.
Really,
God damn it.
That was really terrible. I actually take that back. There's a couple matches for next week on Dynamite. Black versus Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the segment this week, I still think it's going to be good. MJF versus Pillman. I wish I cared more. Mox and Kingston versus Suzuki and Archer. You know where I sit with that. FTR versus Darby and Sting should be good. I'm pretty sure Darby's going to do something crazy. Low-key dark horse for match of the night. Britt Baker defending the title against Ruby Soho, which we didn't really talk about much.
It's going to be so hard to call those fucking matches, honestly.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about that much this week, but they didn't really do much with it this week. Apparently, they're both sitting down for interviews on Rampage. But the one thing I will say, sorry, I have to go on a little detour for a second. When they're announcing, what's coming up next week, so-and-so versus so-and-so, so-and-so versus so-and-so, so-and-so versus so-and-so, and X person is going to be here.
X is going to give it to you.
No, good lord. No, but, after Sting debuted, every week it was here's the match, here's the match, here's the match, and Sting will be here. Okay, cool. He's going to walk out and say some shit and go away. I don't need interviews advertised to me. That might be a little nitpicky thing, but... whatever. But next week we're getting the match. I think it's probably going to be one of the hypest matches that they've had in that division.
Yes.
Again, it's one of those, I wish that we had a little bit more time to build it a little bit more, because look at the character of Britt Baker, and look at how popular and how over Ruby Soho is.
Oh, absolutely.
You could have Ruby, smack around Britt's goons for a couple more weeks. Omega versus Bryan, that might be alright.
Yeah, I guess. It'll be okay, I guess.
And then on the, what are they calling it? The Super Rampage, whatever.
Rampage Grand Slam.
Grand Slam. Jericho and Hager versus the Men of the Year. Should be good. Jericho...
I think it'll be alright, yeah.
Should be alright. The Super Click versus Christian and the Jurassic Express. Should be the main event, which means it'll be the opener. And Hobbs versus Punk will be another step in that story, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get double-teamed. And then, like you say, the cage thing is probably going to happen. And
So that's the only matches. Those three are the only things that we have set for the Grand Slam match or Grand Slam
Rampage. But
yeah,
you got to figure there's two shows before there where they could add more. Like this is going, like if we're doing tonight's Dynamite, that's a Rampage and a Dynamite and another Rampage away. So to already know half the card, it still's not too bad. Like I know it's double length. I know it's double length, and I think I said this at the beginning, but I'd rather have them do a 2-hour Rampage than a 3-hour Dynamite.
Yeah, I completely agree.
There's a lot of wrestling happening. Like a lot of wrestling happening. But what we should have, speaking of Brian Cage, what we need to have is Brian Cage and Christian Cage and Ethan Page
and Adam Page
and Diamond Dallas Page and Nick Gage and WWE's Page in a cage full of rage on Rampage.
On the biggest stage of them all.
Except it's not true, because that would probably be All Out.
I mean, whatever.
And on that really, really, really lame note, Guapo, tell them where to find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Guapo_504. And here, because this is the only channel I'm on anymore. And you can find me if you enjoy watching some guys play Magic the Gathering at Champions of the Parish. Me and my friends play Magic the Gathering and also other card games. Go check it out.
And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz, he's been Guapo, and it's official. We are your AEW reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, me, Señor Guapo, we are tagging out. Bye, guys.
Adios, mis amigos.